Welcome to this practice, which is a wrist-friendly practice, meaning that we're not really going to do anything where you're putting weight on your hands or wrists, so you can still move and breathe, but not have to be on your hands. So we're going to start off in a seat. And I should say I do have the blocks and blankets and things, but if you don't have anything, it doesn't matter. We can make do with what you do have. So to start off, we're going to come into a seat of your choice. If you'd prefer to be in a chair when you're at home, that is all good. Otherwise, you might come into a cross-legged seat, or I'm just kind of bringing the feet out to the side and sitting up on the block in Virasana or hero pose. Up to you with what works, and we're going to be here for a little bit to arrive today. So if something's not comfortable in your seat, at any point you can just move and adjust your seat. So starting off, find where you are, give your shoulders a little bit of a roll, forward and back. And maybe finding that sense of a nice long spine. You might close down your eyes or just soften your gaze. And just starting to gather your attention into your space, and just either into your seat or onto your mat if you're using a mat. In this time of transition out of your day so far and into this really intentional time of practice. Starting to bring more of your awareness to what is happening within the body, how your breath is moving, how you're feeling. And maybe even placing your hands onto your body just to get that little bit of feedback of your breath. Only if it's comfortable, otherwise just resting your hands down. And then noticing the movement of your breath as it is today. And then maybe there is that opportunity to deepen your breath if it's there. But what's really key is that we're not forcing the breath. We're just starting to naturally extend the rhythm from where it is. And then this opportunity to take 3 intentional breaths, we're going to use the straw breath. So you take your full breath in. And then with pursed lips, a slow and gradual exhale. And really feel as you inhale that you're breathing into your belly, side ribs, chest. And then with your exhale, it's like you're drawing the belly in, breathing out through your mouth. And then 2 more like this. So breathing in, filling up. Slow, gradual, deep exhale. One more. And then letting that go. And we'll take maybe 3 or 4 more. Just kind of deep breaths, breathing right into your belly if you can. And slow exhale, maybe out through your nose. 2 more. Your deep breaths. And then after your next round, you can release the hands. Let's take an inhale, reach your arms up overhead. Urdhva Hastasana, lift and lengthen. Exhale, bend your elbows, come into cactus arms, lift and open your chest. Now it's kind of like a cat-cow but seated here. So you bring your shoulder blades together, chest comes forward, that might be your inhale. And exhale, let yourself round like shoulder blades are pulling apart. Maybe your chin comes in towards your chest, elbows and forearms together. Open up, inhale. And exhale. 3 more like this in your own time. And 1 more. All the way in, round. And then lifting back up, cactus arms. Extend and reach up and overhead once again. Inhale, lengthen. And exhale, you can bring the hands out wide, lowering all the way down. So just bringing a little bit of attention to the hands as we start, and you might curl them into fists and just start to take kind of circles with your wrists. Obviously, if you can, depending on what's going on that's kind of limiting your range with your hands, maybe start to roll the wrists. And knowing that when something's going on in the body, you still want to start to bring an attention to it, but the idea can be just to do a little bit less, especially if it's been long-standing, and just really mindfully bringing in movement. You might even like to actually bring your wrists together like this, and then it's like you're curling your fingers in and just taking these circles. Again, that might be way too much range and movement, so you would again do it small and not have the hands over. Yeah. We say wrists, you're not completely excluded from the practice, but we're just going to be a little bit more gentle. And then starting with one hand, just using your opposite kind of thumb and fingers to press in and just give a little bit of massage. Again, I really want to emphasize you're not forcing anything. It's more the attention, so that your hands are kind of having this in your wrists, this positive attention and awareness brought to them. So I'm just kind of patting up each finger here. Maybe just gently giving your wrist a little bit of a squeeze, the forearm. And knowing that your own hand can be such a healing tool. You just bring some energy by actually placing the other hand on the area that's feeling a little bit tender. And then other side, maybe massaging through the palm, just using the thumb. And that sense of kind of walking up each finger, just patting along the fingers. Like, I recognize everything my hands do, wanting to give them that little bit of love, maybe the slight squeeze. Again, nothing has to be too much. It can be really, really gentle. It's just actually bringing connection, awareness, like you're bringing more energy and vitality to these areas. Beautiful. Maybe an open and close, a little bit of a shake out. And rolling those shoulders once again. Okay, so then we'll transition down onto your back. So coming off of your seat, hopefully change it if you needed to. When you come down, if you like having extra support for your head, you can bring something in for your head. Just personal preference if it works for you. Come on down to your back. Okay. And then from here, this kind of constructive rest position, you can bring both knees in towards your chest, Uppanasana. Gently holding if you want. Of course, if holding them, again, I'm not forcing or pulling, just resting the hands. And maybe rolling out through your ankles. A little bit of rolling out through your hips. Maybe a rock side to side here. And then placing your left foot down, extend your right leg up toward the ceiling. Now, if your leg doesn't go anywhere near straight, not a big deal. Keep a bend in your knee. Okay. You can hold it here. You might even use your hands just to support behind the leg. Might be a little bit of movement kind of in and out. Otherwise, pressing up, maybe flexing and then pointing your foot. Yep. If your hands come up further, you can draw the leg in a little more if it's there. But no need to force, it's fine if it's like, just kind of trying to bring it to 90. Of course, if you have a strap at home, you could always use that over your foot as well. And ground those shoulders down. Let's just take one more breath here, not here for too long. Beautiful. And then bring your right knee in towards your chest. Take that left leg out long. So it's onto the floor, heel pressing down. Right knee draws in. Maybe a little bit of movement side to side. And then we'll come into a twist. So it can be your left hand on the right knee, guiding your left knee over the body. And then your right arm might come out to the side. So I've kind of cactused the arm. You can always extend your arm long if you prefer. Maybe your gaze turns over that shoulder. And as you peel your back body off the floor, the intention of breath can be to really breathe into the side body here, into your back ribs. Just take 2 or 3 breaths on this side. And then back through center. And place your right foot down this time, slide that left foot up. Bring your left knee in towards the chest. And then extend your leg up towards the ceiling. Maybe you're holding on, you might be pointing and flexing your foot. Then that little bit of movement into the ankle. And then maybe drawing the leg forward and away, towards you and then away from the body. Pressing out through the heels so you bring a level of activity into that leg. And then just holding for a moment, grounding down through your back, your shoulders. Not forcing, but just bringing some attention to the back of those legs and hamstrings here. Let's take one more full breath. And then drawing your left knee in towards your chest. Extend your right leg long. You can have that right foot flexed, toes turning up. This time, right hand on left knee, crossing over the body, coming into your twist. And you might take that left shoulder down. So not essential, but then you kind of get that sense of still grounding into the earth and opening, kind of peeling the side body off of the floor, breathing into the side ribs. We can be very intentional with the breath, as if you're kind of moving energy around the body with where we send our attention. One more breath here. And then coming back through center. A little squeeze maybe again. Placing that foot down. Alrighty, bring both knees in towards your chest again. Roll side to side. And then this time hands can come in and underneath. Now you can either roll out to one side to come up towards a seat, or if you'd like to, take a little bit of a rock and roll up and down your spine. And then catching in a seat. And extend the legs. I'm just going to shuffle back. Can always prop up on the blankets if you want. Otherwise, we'll take them out the way. And kind of moving your buttocks out of the way. Having your legs out long. And just have your fingertips beside you if you like to start within this Dandasana. So lifting up. I'm not sure you can see here. Flexing your feet. So press the heels down. Maybe reach your arms up. Okay, nice full inhale. Let's lift and lengthen. One more breath here, reaching up. And then exhale, lowering your arms down. Okay. Staying balanced on the buttocks, bending your knees. We're going to bring that little bit of activation into the lower belly for boat pose or Navasana. So hands can just come in and tuck in behind your knees, flexing your feet so heels are down. And then a slight tuck of your buttocks. So you're rounding into your lower back so you feel that engagement through lower belly. And then leaning back here, so we start to feel that tone coming through center. You might stay right here. You might reach your arms out beside you, okay? Or you can float the feet off the floor. And be really mindful that you feel stable and strong here drawing in. Again, hands can stay behind the knees or extending your arms. Finding your shape to hold. Let's take 3 breaths here. One more breath. Beautiful. Place your feet down. Hands might come to shins. Lift and lengthen. Feel free to lift here. Or if you like it, soles of the feet together. You can take your knees out. You might lift and even a little fold. And then we'll do this again. So take your feet up. Hands come in. Lift and lengthen. Find the lift, so from your chest, lifting out of your back, lengthening through the crown of your head, and then this little bit of tuck, right? So there's like a tucking, feels like you're tucking your tailbone, but it's more the tuck of the buttocks to actually tone in through lower belly. Then lean back, finding your variation. So like I mentioned before, arms out, maybe you're floating your feet up right away, and we'll hold again. So keep that length, that stability. You want to start to feel the heat building in the center of your body, squeezing legs toward each other. Taking one more breath. And then coming on down, lifting and lengthening. And then taking your feet out or extending the legs out long, maybe a little bit wider, and just give your legs a shake. Kind of release out through the thighs and what's holding here. Okay. And then from here, we're going to make our way up to standing. So however you kind of come up to standing, doing that. Okay, I'm going to take these 3 half salutations. So finding your mountain pose, spreading your toes, grounding down through your feet, roll your shoulders back, lift and lengthen through the crown of your head. And as you press down through your feet, can you find that lift up from your front thighs, reach down through your fingertips, lift your chest. Inhale, reach your arms up overhead. And then with your exhale, bending your knees as much as you'd like to, hands come down through the center and coming into your fold, Uttanasana. Okay, so if you like blocks, you might have your hands on blocks. You can also have them up much higher. You could be up here if you don't want to come all the way down. You can have a deep bend in your knees, or maybe you're working your legs a little more towards straight. But take that moment of fold, send the buttocks up, active legs, spread your feet. And then hands maybe to shins or above your knees, find a halfway lift. Adho Uttanasana, lengthen. Then exhale with your breath, let's fold back down. So whatever your version is, it might be a smaller range here. Press through your feet, rising all the way up. Uncurling, let your chin come up last, arms can reach overhead. Lift and lengthen, and hands meet in the center of your chest. 2 more like this. Maybe it's your inhale, reaching up, lift and lengthen. Exhale, lowering all the way down. Halfway lift. And folding over your legs. Ground down, rising up. Reach tall. And hands come into the center of your chest. 1 more like this with your breath. Maybe inhale, rise. Exhale. Folding down. Inhale for halfway lift. Just if you're adding the breath on, you can always be in your own rhythm. Exhale, fold. And inhale, rise up. This time as you reach up overhead, if you want to add a little bit of challenge to the balance, you might see if you can rise up onto your toes. And then heels coming down, arms coming down. A little bit of a shake out. Okay, if you're not already there, come to the top of your mat or your space. Right foot will stay at the top, step your left foot back. So we'll start in this warrior 1 shape here. So your back foot can be down, sort of adjust the angle of your back foot so that your body is facing forward. Choose how much bend you'd like in your knee. Option again, arms can reach up. If you prefer to actually bend your elbows and find cactus arms, you can do that here. Okay, or always bring your hands down if it's not comfortable to have them all the way up overhead. And if it kind of goes into your lower back too much, just lengthen forward here. So you're more working with strengthening the back muscles rather than that kind of lift from the chest. And as you ground down through your feet, find that squeeze in of inner thighs, really powering up your legs. You might even lift your gaze slightly, lengthening out from your pelvis, the side body. 3 full breaths here, warrior 1. One more breath. Straightening your front leg, bring your arms down. Hands can come to your hips and then step to the top of your mat. Keep your weight into your right foot. You're going to take tree pose here. So if you want, balance is a little off, you've got a wall next to you, you can just hold on. Otherwise you might have left toes to the floor, left heel coming into the ankle, or the foot might come up a little bit higher or a little bit higher. Just wherever it is in your body today is fine. Grounding down. Your palms might meet in the center of your chest. You can even just gently squeeze. Obviously when you're working with the hands, that little bit of a tension. So giving your hands a little bit of pressure, not too much like the floor. And you soften your shoulders away from your ears. And wherever your foot is pressing into your leg, it's that drawing in, kind of pressing foot and leg to then lift the energy up, find the balance, fixing your gaze out on something in front. 2 or 3 more breaths here, being in any of the wobbles that might be present today. And then when you're ready, releasing down. Taking the feet down, coming back into that mountain, maybe rolling out your shoulders, and just a little release and shake side to side. Grounding through your left foot, step your right foot back this time. Looking for your setup of Warrior One, back foot turned in, grounding down through both feet, choose the bend in your knee. Option, arms can reach up. Same thing like on the other side, you might be bending your elbows, might even have the hands down, or that tilt forward. But finding your shape where you can pause and hold, really ground down through your feet. Think of that squeezing back in as if feet were squeezing toward each other to maintain the integrity and attention to the midline of your body. Three or 4 more breaths here. One more breath. And then arms come down, straightening your front leg. Step back to the top of your mat. Keep your weight into your left foot and come into your tree pose. So remember, you can have heel on your ankle, toes to the floor. Use that balance, or have your hand on a wall as well. Really nice, just to give yourself that little bit of extra feedback. Maybe foot's coming lower, maybe to the upper leg. And your hands, again, might meet in the center with just that little bit of pressure. So just gently pressing your hands in, especially if what's restricting you at the moment is being able to put weight on your hands. You just bring back a little bit of feedback by pressing in and releasing. And nicer to do that with a wall as well, where your hands are on a wall. Maybe 1 or 2 more breaths, being in all of the wobbles that are present here today. Really nice. And then release that out, give it all a little bit of a shake off. And we go back to the right side. So this time, right foot at the top, step your left foot back. And we're going to open out into more of a Warrior Two stance. So your body is facing the long edge of your mat rather than forward. But your front foot still stays forward. Bending into this front knee, ground down, spreading your back foot. Arms can reach. Roll your shoulders back. Think of that front right knee pressing away. Setting up so you're extending out through both arms. If it's a lot to hold your arms here and your shoulders as well, you've always got the option to bring your elbows and your palms facing up at any time. Sometimes it's just nice to not have that tension coming into the upper shoulders here, so feel free. And then little reach forward, turn your front palm, reverse your warrior back. So try and stay into the bend of your front knee, really grounding down, pulling the power up from the earth. You can always, again, straighten and rebend. And then lengthening forward, we'll take side angle. So elbow might come down to your knee. Now if you do have those blocks that I've got there, you could always have the block on the outside or inside edge of your foot if you prefer. Otherwise, elbow here is fine. Left arm might reach up toward the ceiling, or you might like to sweep it in front and extend it alongside your ear. 3 or 4 breaths here. Grounding down through your feet. So rise all the way back up. Arms reach out, straightening your front leg. Hands can come to your hips, and then step your back foot in a little bit. So So depending on kind of where you'd like your Trikonasana. So coming forward again, this time both straight legs, lift up on that front thigh, extend your arms, lengthening out through the side body. Option to have those blocks again if you prefer, or you might bring your right hand down just in front of the leg, pressing the hand into the inner line of your leg. And in reverse, reach your top arm up, grounding through both feet. Keep length through your spine. Not too long here, maybe 2 more rounds of your breath. And then pressing down, lift all the way back up, reverse your triangle. Fantastic. Hands come down. And then this time, turn your feet in, so you've kind of got your feet facing forward. And we'll just take it to the other side. So if you want to step forward and change over, go for it. Otherwise, turning your feet, so now you've got your left foot facing forward, you might walk them out a little bit wider, and then coming into your warrior two. Grounding down through both feet, finding how much bend you want on this front knee, so you're pressing away, and really feeling the strength and stability through your legs, pressing down as if you're drawing back up. Weight somewhat, as much as you can, kind of evenly distributing through both feet, reaching those arms long. And then see if you can hold that shape, reach forward, turn your front palm, reverse your warrior back. Side angle pose, come forward, lengthen out through the side of your body. Left elbow maybe coming down to the knee, right hand to the hip or extending up. You can always use the blocks again if you prefer, down by your feet. And then this top arm, you might like to extend it alongside your ear. Very much don't have to if there's not that space in the shoulder, keeping it up or alongside your hip. Grounding down, 3 or 4 breaths here. Find that nice long line, challenging pose. And then pressing down through your feet, let's rise up, ground down. Come all the way up, straightening your front leg this time. Hands can meet on your hips, and then stepping in. So we find that triangle stance, both straight legs lifting up, option for the blocks. Arms reach out again, lengthen through the sides of your body. And maybe that hand comes down the inside line, pressing in, top arm reaching. But you can always adapt, take less as and when need be. And then just 2 full breaths here. Grounding down, rising back up. Maybe that moment to reverse. And then hands come down, turn your feet. Step yourself back in through the center. Roll out your shoulders for a moment. Spread your toes, maybe palms towards soft bend in your knees, and you might close down your eyes. Take that full inhale, filling yourself up. Sigh, release, exhale. So in the moment of pause, noticing any of maybe the sensations from your feet, your legs, your hands. One more breath right here. And when you're ready, a little bit of a shake out and release. And we're going to make our way back down to a seat. So I'm going to come into a cross-legged seat. If you know that you like having props to prop up your hips, bring in those blankets. Come on down. And then with your legs, let's bring your right shin in front of your left, okay? So you walk it across. If you have further variations where you take that right ankle up onto the knee, of course. Otherwise, from here, flexing your feet, lift and lengthen. We're going to start off with a twist. So reaching your arms up, inhale. And then let's twist over towards the right, coming over. You can take that left hand across the knee, maybe your right, the fingertips come back. And then lift and lengthen. Inhale to reach, exhale to rotate. Inhale back through center, re-lengthen, and then over to the other side. So twisting to your left. Hand can just press in, again, whatever's comfortable with your hands and your wrists. And then up and back. Re-lengthen. Try and be right on the edge of your blankets here. Hands can come down beside you and then look for that little bit of tilt forward. So just depending if it's like a lot of sensation around the upper hips, probably going to stay up higher. If there's a little more space, you might be coming down. Elbows, fingertips. You can use any other props to lean into here. We'll just take 5 or 6 breaths. Really intentional with your breath, like you're breathing into those outer hips. And then making your way back up. And we'll change sides. So maybe a moment just to bring the legs out. Just bring your fingertips beside you if it's comfortable. Take the knees side to side. And then we'll change over so it's your left shin in front. Again, right on the edge of those blankets if you're using them. Crossing your feet over, your legs away slightly. Reach the arms. And we'll start with a twist over towards your left. Lengthening through the crown of your head, reach. Inhale back through center. And exhale other side. Up through center. Fingertips just down beside you to keep that lift, and then finding your tilt forward. This side might be completely different. All right, so wherever you get to, if you're here, all right, if you come down a little further, just finding that place to pause, to reconnect with your breath for the next 5 or 6 rounds of breath here. And slowly and gently making your way back up. And roll. Legs might come out. Take those windscreen wipers, or just give the legs a shake. And then we'll make our way down onto the ground. So you can have your blankets close by if you want to use them for at the end. But otherwise, curling yourself all the way down to the ground. Come into constructive rest, bending your knees. So your feet are on the floor at about hip distance apart. You take a moment to kind of lift and tuck your shoulders in underneath. Hands can just rest down beside you. And then initiating this movement with the kind of tilting from your pelvis. So see if you can roll your pelvis forwards. You create that arch. Your lower back lifts off the floor, but your buttock stays down. Then reverse this action by kind of tucking your buttocks underneath, pressing your lower back into the floor. 2 or 3 like this to kind of initiate the movement into our bridge. By just resetting through the center of your body with these pelvic tilts. Notice if you're kind of on one side of your foot, and really try and evenly press down through your feet when you're here as well. And then if you'd like to stay like this, you can. Otherwise, next time you press your lower back into the floor, ground down through your feet. A little squeeze of those inner thighs, start to lift up just as high as feels comfortable in your body. And then mindfully articulate your way back down, release to the floor. You get tilt at the bottom. And then lifting up. So this is going to be your undulating bridges, lifting and lowering. Maybe you find a little bit more height each round, but nothing to force. Inhale to lift. Exhale to lower. Take 2 or 3 more before the option of holding at the top. And then this option as you lift up, finding a place to pause and hold. Might even kind of walk your shoulders in underneath. And the other option you have, grounding down through your feet, little squeeze in. Maybe 3 or 4 breaths here if you've got it. And then easing your way back down to the floor. And take your toe heel, your feet out a little bit wider. And then just let those knees maybe knock side to side. You can take your head side to side as well. Releasing everything out from this practice. And then feel free to bring your knees back in towards your chest. Rock side to side. Might even like as our kind of final movement to reach your arms and your legs up. A little roll out or a little bit of a shake. Like that waterfall. Might just hold statically. Even taking the full breath in and sighing out. Lowering everything back down for your Shavasana. So if you want to have a little bit of extra support under your head or blanket over your body, anything to feel comfortable, go for it. And you might be lying out flat today or coming onto your side or a seat. And just setting up for these last moments of your practice, letting everything assimilate and settle. Seeing if you can let go of any of the conscious control of your breath and finding maybe a sense of softening, releasing through your body into the floor for your Shavasana. And now feel free to stay here if you've got more time. Otherwise, thank you all for joining me, sharing this practice. Have a beautiful rest of your day, and namaste.